Back to this relationship TV. It is once again F.I.N.D relationship platform, episode 16. Today is going to be very powerful. Remember that what we do on this particular show is to be able to help you to figure out your relationship issues, and not just figuring it out, to be able to integrate different values, because we understand that in relationship, the difference in value is one of the major problems. So here on this platform, we help you to integrate different values so that you can work in harmony in your relationship. We also help you to navigate against all odds in relationship. Very difficult to go through relationship, but you can navigate. You need somebody. This platform is backing you up to navigate against all odds and be able to maintain your passion, be able to drive your relationship to that blissful place that you dream to be. It's been a long journey, all the way from episode 1. Today is episode 16, and I am in this studio today to do this as we have been doing for some time now. I'm welcoming this beautiful dancer here to be able to welcome you viewers. Welcome yourself and welcome our viewers.
Good evening, viewers. It's a pleasure being with you again. Thank you for making our program one of your best programs that you sit up to watch. We're in the episode 16, and we're trusting God that as you make use of all that we've been teaching, God is going to make your relationship solid. Amen. You're welcome.
Oh, that's always smiling. That's beautiful. Okay, today we are dealing with importance of communication in marriage. Importance of communication in marriage. Communication is one of the, can I say, the most important thing in relationship. Let me introduce the topic before we begin to get into it. The issue here is understanding communication. Communication can be a little bit challenging to understand. If you ask me to define communication, I will tell you that communication is the act of conveying your message to somebody else. It is the act of sending and receiving message from someone else. It's important that we look at that particular definition before ever we get into dealing with it in details. It is the act of sending and receiving a message from someone. If we look at communication, you will discover that there are different responsibilities, especially a unique responsibility on the one who is sending the message and also the one who is receiving the message. It is not just to send message. If you look at the media houses, you discover that the media houses have been able to master the act of communication. Communication is sending the message. The one or the sender of the message must take the responsibility of not just sending the message, but be able to send the message in such a format that the one he is sending the message to will be able to receive. And that's why in most of the media houses, you see what they have what you call encoder. It is on the sender's side. He is sending the message in such a format that the receiver will be able to receive it. And on the other side of receiving, or the receiving end, the receiver have to take the responsibility to make sure that he has sound and healthy receivers that will be able to receive the message, interpret it, and be able to understand what the message is all about. So in the side of the receiver, they have what you call decoder. So we see decoder, which is the responsibility of the receiver, and we see the encoder, which is also the responsibility of the sender. All this is trying to tell us that in communication, just sending the message is not enough. There are responsibilities on both sides to make sure that the message that is sent to you, you have proper equipment to understand, interpret, download, and be able to understand the details of the message. If we bring it down to relationship, you see that in communication, it is a mutual responsibility of both spouses to be able to receive and be able to send a healthy message. In other words, if a particular spouse is communicating or sending a message to his spouse or her spouse, and is sending it in such a manner that the other spouse is not able to pick it up, it's not going to work. And that is one of the primary reasons why communication is a huge problem in relationship. So we're here in this studio today to look at it both from the spiritual side and look at it from the practical side, and be able to help you today to know how to communicate effectively in your relationship. Now, let me come to you, woman of God. I really want you to get us into the scriptural principle. Do you have any scriptural principle that can help us to go along with this message?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of scriptures, but we're going to start with Proverbs 14.
Proverbs 14. Proverbs 14.
Chapter 14. Then we're going to look at verse 1 and 3. Proverbs 14. It says, "The wise woman builds her house, but the foolish pull it down with her hands."
The foolish pull it down with
her hands. Then in 3 it says, "In the mouth of a fool is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise will preserve them."
Wow. Can you go down a little bit and explain this?
If you see in verse 1, he's comparing relationship with a building. With a building. So it's telling us that you don't just have a home, you don't just have a marriage, you don't just have a successful relationship.
It doesn't just happen.
It doesn't just happen. It is built.
It's like a building.
It's like a building. Someone needs to build it. It's a duty of someone to do it. Like if we come to Hebrews 3:4, Hebrews 3 chapter 4, you see where he said, the house is built by a man.
So we don't just fold our hands and pray that God will make our relationship work.
Yeah, you don't just believe, oh, it will just work. You need to work. You need to do something. And when I say that a relationship is like a house, it is not the one you build with bricks. You build relationship with words.
Words are the building
material. Are the building material. So I can say that your relationship is the product of your words. Your relationship
the quality of relationship you have
is the distance of your words. You understand? So which means your word can build and your word can destroy the relationship. So using the right word at the right time helps the relationship to go well.
Wow.
So that means that what you say becomes very, very important. It is not all about wanting to say something, but you need to know how to say what you want to say. And when to say what you want to say. And that is the major problem that is in relationship. I want to say maybe 90% of relationships that are having issue today is as a result of lack of communication, proper communication. You understand? So it's important in your relationship that you know what to say as a woman, as a man. You also know how to say it.
Wow.
And you also know the environment when. You don't just start talking because you need to talk. You see some men or women, spouse will say, no, we need to talk now. We have to say it now. And when you're saying, no, we need to now, we can't wait till tomorrow. The question is, what is the atmosphere at that time? Maybe the woman is boiling or the man is boiling, the woman is stressed up or the man is stressed up, and you want it to be said now. In such an environment, there is no way you can communicate positively. So communication is a very vital thing in relationship.
Wow, that's so powerful. That's so powerful for our woman of God here. Communication is a vital ingredient of a healthy relationship. She said that the building that the Bible talked about in Proverbs chapter 14 is talking about relationship. I want to underscore that again. Your relationship is like a building. It's like a building. And this particular building is not being built with bricks and blocks. It is being built with words. In other words, if you are going to have a healthy relationship, a healthy marital relationship, even in your office, every kind of relationship, it is being built with words. Words are the building material. It's not a time for you to fold your hands and say, well, I pray. You know, many Christians know how to pray over their relationship, bind all the demons, cast out all the devils, all the mother-in-laws and all the uncle-in-laws. But yet they don't know that they are the ones who are using their mouth to pluck it down. That was a powerful one that she pointed onto us. And that makes me to think about a particular scripture under that, a particular scripture in Isaiah chapter 50. Isaiah chapter 50, you know, when you were talking about knowing what to say, how to say it, I talked about this scripture in Isaiah chapter 50 verse 4. I want to give a scriptural background on that particular statement that our woman of God had made. It's in Isaiah chapter 50 verse 4. He said, the Lord had given me the tongue of the learned. The Lord had given me the tongue of the learned. What's the tongue of the learned all about? That I should know how to speak a word in season to him that is weary. He waketh my morning by morning. He waketh my ear to hear as the learned. This is the scriptural background of what our woman of God is saying here today. She told us that you need to know how to say. In other words, I normally tell people that if you don't have the tongue of the learned, you don't have any business in marriage. That might be too harsh, but it is true. You will not last in your marriage if you don't have the tongue of the learned. And you're saying, Caleb, how do I get the tongue of the learned? You can pray to God to give it to you. It can come as a gift to you. It can come also as a time as you learning to speak, learning how to speak, learning. You need to learn how to speak. You see, it is not enough that you know what to say. You know what to say. It's not enough. Or I know what to say. Don't think I don't know. No, you know what to say. That is beautiful. But it is not enough for you to know what to say. You need to know how to say what you know to say. Because what you have to say, if you don't say it in the right manner, it is going to mess up your relationship. So it is not enough to know what to say and how to say it. You need to know when to say it. What's the season? What's her season? You need to know the seasons of every word. You need to know. You need to know. You need to know the seasons of every word, not just the seasons of every word. Look at the person that you're speaking to. It is important. What kind of state is the person that you're speaking to for you to know how to speak to a person? Your husband was arrested by police over issues, and you walk to him to tell the whole police how stubborn your husband is. That's not the right season to say such a thing. You know, do you understand? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Do you have anything to contribute in that area? I'm talking about the emphasis of knowing when to say certain things or how to say certain things, looking at the seasons of words.
Yeah, you can't just come into a situation and you start talking. Wisdom permits that when you get into an environment or into your house, you first of all listen, then you watch before you speak. We remember James 1, where he said you should be swift to hear.
You should be swift to hear, slow to talk, and slow to anger. I call it the 3 S.
So that is the principle. You don't just come in
and then you start
talking. When you know what to say, you should also know how to say it. Presentation. If you know how to present it, you must also watch the environment to know, is this the time to talk? If it is not the time to talk, you don't need to talk. You still have a lot of time to speak. It must not be at that particular time. So we need to watch that, because that's the issue that most people are having in their relationship. You understand? Maybe you notice my wife is not doing this thing right, or my husband is not doing this right. Then immediately you jump in, you just bounce. You don't even know the reason why the person did what he or she did. You just come to conclusion and you end up what you want to say. Even sometimes you don't even listen. You don't.
I want to say my mind. I want to say my mind.
You don't
allow me to say my mind. I have something to say.
You don't wait to take the response. You understand? You don't even wait to take reply. You just come. You start it. You say it. You end it. You close it. And the other person, you don't even get a reply. And that is also affecting most Christians. When you go on your knees to pray, Father, in the name of Jesus, you have to tell God everything, instruct him on what to do, what he has done, what he has not done. At the end of the day, off you go. Because your way of communication in your relationship is the same way you are taking it to God.
Yeah, I think there's something you mentioned about a scriptural principle that you brought up from James chapter 1 that said you need to be slow, you need to be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. I call it the 3 S that modulates, regulates, makes you to get into healthy and proper communication. Because you cannot, if you're not swift to hear, that is listening. Yeah, listening. Most of the time, people who are swift to talk are slow listeners. Those who are swift to talk, and that destroys marriages a lot, because in a situation you are having a conversation with your spouse, you are always thinking of what to say. Even when he is saying something to you, you're not paying attention to hear what he's saying. You are already boiling with what you want to say. You are so much consumed by what you want to say. What is important to you is what I want to say. In that situation, you will not be able to hear, because you cannot be in a state where you are boiling with what you want to say, and at the same time you will be listening. You cannot be talking and listening at the same time. So it is important that we look at that scriptural principle, especially when it comes to communication, that if you are a good listener, you are going to be a slow talker. Yes, and that's healthy. But if you are always in a haste to say a thing, you will be a poor listener, and that is really going to affect the quality of messages and the quality of contributions and the kind of communication that you have. Don't forget that the reason why we are dealing with this is because you cannot build your relationship without a proper communication. Now, let me ask you, how important, we've been saying it in all passes, but I want us to underscore it right now. How important is communication in having a blissful, happy, great, honorable marriage?
I think communication is the most important part.
Did you say most? You said most important.
Yeah, because every other part, it's like a vehicle that carries every other important part of marriage performance. Communication is the number one thing. If you fail in communication, you failed in every other thing.
How do you mean that?
What I mean is, you can't say I love you when it's not communicated.
Okay.
You understand? Now, in communication, it's where every other things come under.
Like trust,
like
forgiveness,
love,
all of those things.
All those things are in that vehicle called communication. So if you are not able to communicate nicely, there is no way you can forge ahead with that relationship. Definitely, that relationship is going to be messed up. It's like the child.
Do you mean that you can love somebody? You can love somebody, and if you don't know how to communicate that love, it appears to the person that you don't love me.
Yeah, for instance, you see, sometimes we believe, I love him, he knows I love him.
But you're not communicating.
He knows I love him, he should understand that I love him. Or she should understand that I love her.
I trust that.
I don't know how to go about it, but she should know. You don't think she should know. You need
to communicate.
You need to say it. Every woman wants to hear that word, I love you.
How many times?
Hey, uncountable. And every man wants to hear, I trust you.
I respect you.
I
value you.
I value you. I honor you. Every man wants to hear you are the best. Every woman wants to hear, oh, you are beautiful. So it's important that you say it, you communicate it. I know it's in your heart.
Yeah, but
I know you have it, but let it gain expression.
Yeah.
I want to hear it. That's why. That's why when I come in, I say, baby, you are good. You are a good man. Baby, you are handsome. Baby, you are the best thing that has happened to me. And you see him go that way. So I know I'm getting it. So it's the most important thing you need for a successful relationship.
Oh my word, we're having a nice time in this section because this is massive. There's some things that have been said here today that is so powerful. You can love a person, and if you don't communicate it, communication is that vehicle. It's a vehicle of expression. That's why the woman of God says that communication is the most important. There are many important things in relationship: trust, love, forgiveness, many important things. But the most important one is communication. The reason is because if you love a person, that's important. If you trust a person, that's important. But if it is not communicated, the next person, the person will not be able to hear it from you or to receive it from you. And it is your communication that creates the atmosphere of your marriage. Remember, words The words we speak into our relationship creates the atmosphere of the marriage. If you keep on speaking words of discouragement, words of bitterness, words of anger, words of every negative thing, you create that environment. So through your words, through your communication, you create the atmosphere, the environment of your relationship. So I don't know who is watching me right now, and you're watching this episode and your relationship is under tension. I want you to know you can change that tension right now through the tool of communication. Communication changes the atmosphere of relationship. Communication is the vehicle through which every other aspect, most important things in relationship are communicated. In fact, to me, communication is the cornerstone of every relationship, because every other thing is built on it. Let me tell you again, if you have to, whatever you need to serve your spouse in your relationship, the trait that you will use to serve it is communication. Communication is the masterpiece. I've read and I heard and I know that every sick relationship is a relationship that is thriving on poor communication. Communication is the life wire of every relationship. I've taught many people that if you want to kill off any communication, any relationship, you want to disconnect yourself from any relationship, all that you need to do is cut off communication. The moment you cut off communication, relationship dies. So the blood, the life of every relationship is communication. So that's why we are here today, and we are able to get through to you, to visit your communication again. Look at your communication again. There's something wrong in communication in every sick relationship, and you can get it healed today. You know, there's this experience of a couple that I had. One of the couple, I think it was the woman. The woman said to the man, he said, "Since ever I know you," you know, that's how to communicate now. He says, "Since ever I know you, you've never made any wise decision. You've been making foolish decisions since ever I know you." The man said, "Yes, you're right. You're right. Since ever I met you, I've been making wrong decisions and foolish decisions. In fact, the most foolish decision that I've made is to marry you." So it's a confirmation of that. Now, okay, having done that, we've looked at the value of communication. We've been able to understand what communication is all about. Now, I want us to take it further. There are three kinds or three means of communication. There are three means of communication. Communication is not just verbal. Verbal is one of them. Verbal communication. You know, a situation whereby you are saying what you have in your heart. Okay? Verbal is one kind of communication. There's another kind, way of communication, which is non-verbal. Non-verbal is another kind of communication. And the third different kind of communication is physical acts. Physical act. And we want to look at these three kinds, because you cannot build your relationship on one aspect, way of communication. There got to be a diverse way by which you do communication in relationship. And I've identified three major ways. The first one is verbal. You need to say it. You need to say it. You need to say it. I'll never forget this also. There's a story of a brother in a church. A brother in a church, he fell in love with another sister, a single lady. They're not yet married. He fell in love with her, and they have been paying the school fees of this lady, and they have been buying things for this lady. But he had never opened his mouth one day to say, "I love you," or "I want to marry you." But as he was doing that, that is getting to 3 years, 4 years. He comes, visit the lady, do nice things for the lady, and all of a sudden, in our marriages.
Yeah, I think I want to start off with verbal.
Okay.
Verbal communication. Verbal communication is a very important part of communication. Because it is only God that knows the heart of a man that can look through.
God sees the heart.
The heart, not me.
Not man.
And not you. So it becomes important that you need to talk.
You need to open this your mouth and talk.
A lot of problems also that we have in relationship is lack of talking, lack of speaking out. You say something you don't want happening, you say that this thing is not right, you bottle it up. You keep it in your heart. Things are not going the way you are expecting it, you bottle it. You continue keeping it. It will come to a point, because you are human, you won't be able to accommodate it anymore in your heart.
It becomes an overflow.
By the time you want to react, now you react in a very bad way.
Violent way.
You react in a way that can end the relationship that the two of you started well. That you have problem in your relationship does not mean that you don't love each other. It's just that the communication.
Bad communication, poor communication.
Within the two of you. You can't be in a relationship without talking. The same thing with you not speaking out the way or how you feel about your spouse. You look at him, oh, he's handsome, he's beautiful, or maybe he dressed up and he came out, you like what he or she is putting on.
But you're not saying
you just look at it and say, oh, he's looking nice, or oh, she's looking nice.
You said it in your heart.
In your heart. You never opened your mouth to talk.
So are you saying that in verbal communication, we communicate our pains, our dislike, and also the things that we like?
Yes.
Okay.
It's important that we do that. There is a lady, they went for a function. She went to a function with the spouse. And in the meeting, the guy was well dressed. And every lady in the function was like, oh, wow. You are looking wow. They were taking pictures. They wanted to take pictures with him. Then she was offended. She was angry. Why must these people now be the people to tell my husband how he's looking and so on? But you came from the home together. You never opened your mouth to say, yo, you look great. Now you came to the occasion and people are helping you to do what you were supposed to do.
But if she have done that and people are now talking about it, in the back of the mind of the husband, he would have said, my wife says so. My wife says so.
Then when they left, she managed to comport herself. Then when they got home, it's like, why must all those ladies? Why must all those guys? Why must they take your picture? Why must they? And the guy said to her, I didn't know that I was looking this wonderful.
They told me.
I only got to know that I was looking great at the function. He said, why didn't you tell me at home before we went out? So in communication, you need to open your mouth.
Heart.
The Bible says
Openness.
slow to speak. It didn't say you shouldn't talk at all.
Yeah.
It didn't say you shouldn't talk at all. Every woman wants to hear that you look beautiful. Every man wants to hear, I look handsome. So you must talk. And when you notice things not going right, you also need to talk. Don't sweep it under the bed. Don't say, oh no, the day I will deal with you, the day I will deal with you. Those are the things that mess up relationship.
So in every open relationship, in a relationship where the spouse are open, they open up their heart, they speak out with wisdom, being tactful in their way of presentation. When and how. You know, but it is important that you have to talk. You have to talk because in talking you are building your relationship. That's about the verbal. But let me talk about the non-verbal. The non-verbal is another dangerous way of communication, very subtle. In fact, I've learned that in every communication, 10% of what you say, the words you use, 10% of your message is communicated by the words that you use. Another 20% is communicated by the sound of your voice, the tone that you use in saying what you are saying. But I'm aware that 70 to 60% of other messages are communicated by your body language. Your body language. The non-verbal communication is one of the most powerful ways of communication. There are women, there are men, they are saying nothing, but they are saying a lot. Through non-verbal body language. Imagine your husband or your man or your wife coming back from a very anointed service. Very, very anointed service. Your husband just came back from church, came back from a prayer meeting, came back from, or maybe a very exciting day in the office where you received promotion. But the way you open the door, you just open the door, your facial expression cause all the joy that somebody gave to him outside to just fly away. Just because of your body language, your facial expression. You didn't say anything. Nobody can quote what you said. What did I do? That's the question. When people have said a lot with their body, you can't quote them. But the truth of the matter is greater percentage of our communication is done through our body language. Your body language. So in relationship, you must understand that you communicate without words. You communicate without words. Body language is important. You know, women, that time that you've gone to your husband's phone and you have seen some things that you didn't want to see, and then the man is coming back, that's when you go cold. That's when everybody knows that something is wrong, just because your body language have said it all. So non-verbal communication is through our body language, facial expression, countenance, dropping tips here and there through the movement of our bodies. So we must make sure, we must understand that communication is not only verbal, communication can also be non-verbal. The third one is physical action, physical act. Physical act is another way of communication. In physical act kind of communication, you didn't say anything. It's not about your body language, but it is things that you do. Things that you do. Maybe you took her out for dinner, or you're a woman, you took your man out and paid a bill. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. A situation whereby you say you're taking the man out and then the man is paying the bill. No, it's not you taking the man out, but you've said something. You bend down, clean the kitchen, wash the dishes, help her out in her housework and every other thing. You know, you are saying something by your action. You're saying something by your action. You fix. I have a pastor friend. At a particular time of the year, he normally asks the whole family, including the wife. I mean, he did it the other time. I told him, I said, I wanted to test the meal myself. He would tell everybody, you go sleep, you go down, the wife, every other person. He will do the cooking that day. You remember him? He will do the cooking that day. That is powerful message that you're sending. When you begin to take actions, to do certain things, help take the beam out, help fix something that conventionally is taken to be the responsibility of the woman, or something that she's used into doing every single time. So it is communication. You are communicating love. Now we've seen these three kinds of communication: the verbal, the non-verbal, and the physical acts that we carry out. I want to state here, as we begin to close, I want to state here that there is no one kind of communication, means of communication, is enough to build your home. There have to be a balance in three of these communication. Because if you keep on telling me, honey, you don't know how much I love you, you don't know how much I love you, but I don't see that in your physical expression, your facial expression, the next action you are doing something contradicting your words. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Your verbal communication must be in agreement with your non-verbal communication. And you're telling me, I trust you, but your actions, each time you're going to my phone to check my phone, you understand what I'm saying? You're going to investigate me each time you say, but I trust you. It doesn't work that way. Your action is contradicting your words. So there have to be a synergy, a balance, a mix-up, a coming together of these three ways of communication for that communication in your relationship to be very healthy. Do you have any other thing to say on this particular issue?
Yeah, I think what I want to say is love is important and everyone wants to be loved. That is one. Say out what the problem is or what you like.
Open up.
Communicate. When you're using your body language in the non-verbal communication, make room for discussion. Don't just block it, and when you make. Also, you must tell yourself, it is not only my spouse that should buy things for me. After all, he's not owing you, whether it's the man or the woman.
He finished paying the loan.
So you must be thinking of how you can
be a blessing
to the man, and the man is also looking for a way to be a blessing unto you. If you want your relationship to last, that becomes important. But if you want your relationship to end, if you want to destroy your relationship, we see in Genesis 11, the Tower of Babel, when God wanted to stop what they were doing, what he did was to stop their means of communication.
Yes, that's
and when their means of communication was tampered with, the vision died, the building ended, they scattered. The same thing happens in relationship. If you want your relationship to scatter, if you want to stop, if you don't want to get to the next level in your relationship, then destroy the communication, then everything is gone.
Wow, everything goes off the moment communication is confused. So there have to be an understanding, a learning process of how we communicate, how to communicate. Don't say, my weakness is I don't know how to communicate. No, improve that weakness.
You learn it.
Learn it. It's the tongue of the learning. You need to learn how to communicate. In fact, I'm going to say it in a very hard way. You cannot last in any relationship if you don't know how to communicate. I don't care how much you love your spouse. I don't care how much your spouse loves you. That relationship will not last except you know how to communicate. I want to end with this particular story. A particular woman was having problem with her husband. Each time, they're always fighting. So she decided to go to a native medicine man to do some juju for him, some sangoma, to do some juju for her, so that he will stop fighting with the husband. All of a sudden, the sangoma or the juju man gave him different white pebble white stones, and said, each time your husband is coming in or coming back, put one in your mouth. Make sure that it doesn't fall. If it fell out of your mouth, the medicine does not work. Just put it there. Now she practiced that diligently for almost a month. And after 1 month, there was no fight in the house. So she carried a cow to go thank the medicine man. But the medicine man said, there was nothing supernatural. I just discovered that it is your mouth that is causing the problem. And if you put the white pepper in and don't allow it, that means that you can't talk and run your mouth this way. We read a place that says, a wise woman buildeth her home, but a foolish one plucks it down with her own hands. And the tongue is the tool that we use to destroy it. Don't gossip your spouse outside. Don't misrepresent your spouse outside. I think we will also do another series on this particular one, but today it is awesome that you understand that communication is the life wire in your relationship. Well, okay, we've come to the end of this particular section, but I want to present once again this book to you. This is Keeping 24-Hour Prayer Watch, written by me. And I think one of these days we're going to do some sections on prayer. Prayer is a vital instrument that can keep your marriage, because there are certain things that comes into your marriage that is supernatural. There are certain things, certain forces. Small girls can go to marine world, collect power, and come into your marriage. And the one that you call darling, sweetie, you will not see them anymore. It's just the sugar is gone. It is just because there is a supernatural power that entered into the marriage and messed up everything. So couples or spouses that pray together are protected spiritually in their marriage. I want you to know that natural marriages doesn't work anymore. There got to be a supernatural dimension that keeps your marriage going. I'm going to talk about that in another episode, but I want you to get this book. It helps you to keep prayer watch, and couples and spouse and families that pray together, they stay together. Get this book. It's so simplified. It talks about the 8 different altars of the day, 4 altars in the night, 4 altars in the day. At every space of time, this book will teach you how to pray into the gates of time, and in doing that, it will really give you a prayer life that can sustain every aspect of your life, including your marriage. Right, we've come to the end of this. Go down to our YouTube channel, Life Mend the World Mission, YouTube. Click on the subscriber place. Subscribe. Please help us subscribe. Send to your friends also, and click the bell for notification. Each time we are online, you will receive a notification, and you can also get in there to look at other episodes from episode 1. Today is episode 16. So there are 15 other episodes that we have discussed different things that can help you. You can also go to our website, www.lifemending.org, and you can go to the live F.I.N.D relationship page or online television and be able to pick up things. Get down to that website. There are books in that website. There are other activities going on in the website, and I believe that your life will never be the same. Until we see you next week, I am still Caleb's your relationship coach, and love Caleb's, the beautiful woman. I think she's the most beautiful this time around. I'm saying that now, you see, I'm doing communication. Okay, we see you again next time. Bye-bye.